promotion relegation. So there are a lot of pieces of this, right? And this ties into the USL piece, and it's been an interesting relationship over the years, USL and MLS. One time you were almost partners or supporting each other.
Right.
Seems like that has subsided. They've made a clear intention to bring promotion relegation in. Alan Rothenberg last week, I don't know if you saw, you have too much going on, but I wanted
to make a comment on it.
Well, he was asked about it. I think he was doing an interview, and he said it's inevitable. He said it's not necessarily imminent, but it's inevitable. And we look at it, we talk about this a lot. Who in their right mind, one of your 30 owners, would sign up for this, right? Having seen what other owners around the world suffer through, right? Through promotion and relegation. Where are you at on it? As a, first of all, always, without your commissioner hat, but then your obligation is to your owners.
Yeah.
And do any of the owners also curiously say, yeah, let's go for it?
No.
Right? It would push our league.
No,
Not one.
I mean, you raise it. Why would they? Let me take this in. And, I get asked this a lot. You never get an opportunity in a media scrum to get into detail, which is what the beauty of this format is. And I think that's why so many people are engaging in your show. You could talk about things thoughtfully and push back and forth. When you're building, the league is still a startup, and it's still a startup, which is why the jobs that all of us have are hard, because you're 30 years into a startup, and who does that?
Right.
It's almost like you're a venture capital CEO. That doesn't last very long. You get rid of those guys, and they say thanks a lot, and they bring in a proper person to run the company. We have had to raise billions and billions and billions of dollars to support the growth of this league. In infrastructure and training grounds, in development and academies and stadiums, in roster development, in marketing and staffing. We got 10,000 employees league-wide. 10,000 guys. Think about that. We should all feel really good about that. And if somebody is investing that, it's because they see an economic return. They're not philanthropists. They're industrialists, and they're visionaries and love the game. They all love the game. You guys know that. You know most of our owners. And then you have to go out and you got to finance 3 stadiums coming on. There'll be almost $2 billion actually more than $2 billion of investment. Nobody's writing $2 billion checks, guys. We live in a capitalist society with debt and debt guarantees. And those are guarantees by revenue. And we don't have enough revenue anyway. So if you go into a dynamic where all of a sudden that revenue goes away, you're going out of business. And that's the reality, commissioner or otherwise. I think that there is a beauty of this idea of the competition at the bottom. But remember, they also have the competition for the Europa League. They have the competition for the Champions League. They have the competition for their version of the league championship, the Supporters' Shield. And that dynamic doesn't yet exist. It's beginning to, with the Champions League announcement just came out with CONCACAF. But life is about opportunity and capturing that opportunity with change. And if you don't do that, it's like the shark. You see a lot of nasty sharks because they're always swimming, going after their prey. You're not seeing a lot of dead sharks because if they stop moving, they die. So I don't know what it looks like. I made a comment the other day, maybe. We'll see. And I've
maybe
learned,
on promotion relegation.
I mean, who knows? I mean, Alan's comment is probably the right one. I don't know what the world's going to look like 3 years, 5 years, or 10 or 20 years from now. So why say never?
Right.
Let me talk about the USL because that is a buzz, and there's a lot that's been going on the last couple of days or weeks. I have enormous respect for people that have been committed to building the sport in this country, whether it's the founders like Alan and Sunil, whether it's the new leaders like Cindy and JT. Alec Papadakis has been doing this for generations. That guy is run silent, run deep, doesn't get a lot of press. Nobody even knows who he is. But Alec's done a great job. And yes, and Francisco Marcos before him. We've been in the early days trying to launch what is the equivalent of a reserve league. USL was launching their league. We came together. They said, we're not really that interested in having your teams have a reserve league. Well, we're trying to build a proper minor league. We said, great. We went out and launched our own league. Now we have independent owners, soon to be 7 of them. One just announced in Long Island, one of the wealthiest guys in Long Island, building a stadium.
Was it Tim Howard?
No,
He's one of the wealthiest. He's one of the wealthiest guys in Long Island. I know that.
That's funny. Probably is. But anyway, I think there's going to be either more collaboration. That would be good. If there's less collaboration, probably not good. But I've learned over this time, keep moving forward, be smart and thoughtful. Don't sort of constantly look over your shoulder out of fear. Look out of shoulder out of awareness. What's happening? So that we could think about how to get ourselves in the right spot. Fans determine who they're going to support, not leagues. Fans determine that. And fans are supporting Major League Soccer. We have 12 million fans come through our games. We have record revenue, record ratings. I don't worry about anything that anybody else is doing, but who knows? There's a big opportunity here. We'll see.
Yeah. I mean, I've been open and outward in saying I'm against promotion relegation in this country. And I think it's because, and I don't say that as an owner, investor, or I don't say it in any sort of way to slant the conversation other than I lived that life for so long in England, and it's great, but it's great for the top stories. What people don't see is that some of these teams go away. Some of these teams get relegated, never to be seen again. And that's very dangerous. And the other point that I try and make to people when I have the conversation, because I'm happy to have the debate about it. When you go to England, and our country is just different, these communities are so small. So the club, and you talked about 10,000 employees league-wide, these clubs are so small that whether they're in the Premier League or the Championship or League One, that drives a community economically. So that's jobs, that's tickets, all of those things, because the community is so small. If you get relegated in New York, there's 1,000 other things you can do to pay your bill, right? So when a club gets relegated in England, as an example, that surrounding neighborhood is still funded economically by the club. And so it never just goes away. But there are some teams that free fall, and I think people get so excited about the promotion relegation battle, which is fun, but they lose sight of the facts. And the facts are economically teams get punished. So
that's not their job. Their job's to be fans.
Yeah, of course, of course.
But listen, guys, there's no way I'm raising money to build a stadium in Indianapolis, which is an expansion market. If Indianapolis has a bad 4 years and they're playing now in another league, whether that's the USL or
100%.
what, it's just not happening from a realistic perspective. But I remember you guys both know Mark Abbott, who along with Alan founded the league. And Mark is this brilliant guy, and he's now a professor down in Georgetown. And, he would say to me, it always amazed me that people would say soccer in America would never make it. So what do they know that we don't know? Because nobody knows when that's going to happen.
Sure.
So that's why I look at all this stuff. Did I ever think we'd ever have a international calendar? 0 chance. I thought that was happening 3 years ago. Here we are. So you never know, Landon. Let's see how it develops. And I have a lot of respect for Alec, a lot of respect for Paul McDonough, who's come in, left
Paul's
a team
great.
job. He's running a league. Amanda's running there. Amanda Vandervoort, ex-MLS employee, running their women's league. I'm not saying this to be Pollyannic and to be political. Everybody, I get a lot of blame and credit for what's happening. At the end of the day, there's legions of people that have been working, building the sport. And sometimes things, don't go the right way. We went through that in San Diego. But man, you just got to keep moving.
Totally.